This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, last session we have seen about like say first thing is like how to install Android Studio and how to create a particular device actually. So this is my Android Studio. So to create a device, like I told you, like say we need to have the options actually. Download some files and then install it up. So when you do a create device, basically you can pick on one device and then which version of Android you are going to use it. So you can see for easier identification, it's listed over here 10, 9 and stuff. So we are going with Android 13 or Android 12, whichever you like it. Go with the latest one. So if you want the 13 one, just you need to download it up. Simple. That is how it works. So it downloads it and you can use it up. So that is one thing. So I've been using this Android 12 to create the particular device. I click the next and what type of device you want it. So you click on the full advanced settings and you need to check it, like say whichever the memory you need to share, only you need to change few stuffs. So rest let it be the same. So when you go to the RAM, VM heap and internal storage, so whichever you want you can modify it up. And then for the camera, basically you can give both as emulated, then it will show like say the real camera feel, and then you can click on like say finish. So it will start to create it for you. So it will be creating it like this. So you can just play this button so that the device will be loaded. But few things like to take in mind is like for this one, so just click this option SDK manager over here. So make sure like say SDK platform, make sure you have the relevant files available. So sometimes there will be like update available will be shown, so sometimes it may not open it, like as in the case that we are seeing it with one of the persons over here. And is SDK tool also like mark this option show details package, and whichever you have installed, like whatever is the package, so Android 34 or 31 or something like that, just try to install it up. Here also don't make it something like update unavailable. If here also update unavailable is there, like it may not also install. So here like say Android emulator, Android SDK platform, so both should be available. So this is how it works. So in the update side, like this pretty much is it. So I click OK. So if I want to launch it, I press it, the play button. So it will be connecting it for me. So let me turn it on. Yeah. So this is how basically it works. So this is how the device. To check whether the device is connected or not, maybe go to your terminal or your command prompt wherever you are available. So you can put like say ADB devices. Okay, this is just a small command like to show you. This is the name of your emulator. So if you create like say 2 3 devices also, like it will be available for you to list it down. Maybe for example, if I connect a real device, you can also try this one. So it's just making you to just start and hold on with the Androids. Mac I'll show you because Mac is a pretty little complex thing, so I'll show it to you. Just a second, let me find my cable. Just a second. So this is just to show you like how a real device will look like and how it will be like a normal device. So whenever you connect to a real device, just make the mode as like say file transfer mode, and then I can see I put the same command over here. Just a minute. Okay, it's not listing it for me. Okay, so it's not listing. So why the difference is like say for emulators, if you connect or emulator or simulator, so it will be something like this. But for a real device, some random number will be generated. Maybe why it's not creating. Okay, I'll check upon it. But whatever the device you set up, right? Maybe for example, even if it is going to be your Pixel XL, next, finish. So in number of devices, if you start it, like obviously, like it will showing it to you as well. Like two, three devices also. Like when you give it over here, so you see like both the emulated devices, it will be showing. So the real device, let me check it. Like let's not spend much time over here because still we have Java to complete. So I'll tell you like maybe it might be in problem with my device also. It's a very old device. I'll check it and I'll update you. Okay, so did anyone try it like this to start a device or something like that? Okay, so maybe let's try it up. Let's start with the Java first. So last session we have seen about like say just a minute. Okay, last session we have seen about like say how to create a method and what are the different ways to access a method inside the particular class. So we have seen it with like say we have seen it with the object way of creation of calling the method, and also we have created with the help of like a static keyword how to access the method. So both the ways we have seen. So now we will be seeing something like say uh, we'll see about like say two class access also we have seen it like we have options in the two classes and how to use it. So now we will see about like say what is like say method with parameter. So far whatever method we have created is just a simple method we have created and then some logics we have written. So like in all these methods if you see it's going to be executing only one logic at a time. That means like if I want to use the addition, so only the same number is going to be executed multiple times. And if you go to multiplication, so 2 into 4 only it's going to be executed multiple times. So let us assume like say I don't want to do this. So for each iteration I need to change the values of the particular method that it is holding. So how to do about or how to achieve this particular thing is like we need to use something like say method with parameters. So how does a method with parameter will exist is like say public static void, maybe let's go with like say addition parameter, something like this. Just I'm giving a easy representation, and inside the brackets like we can give like say what is the value that you're going to give it up. It's going to be an integer or string or something like that, like say int of a comma int of b, open close bracket. Then you can give your logic over here like say int of result is equal to a plus b. Then you can addition result with parameter. So what happens over here is like since I'm using a static, I can directly call it over here. So it is something like addition parameter. So I can pass my parameter like say 3 and 4 and stuff. So why I'm telling this one is like say when we jump into like say APM or Selenium, so whatever it is. So basically it's going to be like say all the reusability methods that you're creating. So it will be something like this. You write the logic over here, pass the parameter. So whatever the parameter it holds, the logic will be executing the same thing. So that is how basically we need to create some reusable methods. So when we jump into the APM part, we'll be utilizing all these things. So when you run it, okay, it's saving. Okay, you say like say it is 7 and 11. So this is how usually it performs. So no need to write your code again and again, repeat the code and again. So whenever you find like say a piece of logic that you're going to repeat it again and again, so it's better that you put it as a base logic and reuse the method. So instead of reusing the logic again, reuse the method in such a way so that you can use the particular logic again and again. So this will be like a best way to use it whenever you have a reusable codes available. So this is a kind of a best practice that you can do it and it will be helpful. And so far what we have seen is like say method with void. So sometimes what we need to do it is like we need to write a logic in such a way so that it returns some values to us when the method is getting executed. For example, we call it as a method with return type. Method with return type. So whenever there is going to be like a method with return type, so usually we give it like say public, either you can give it as a static and then what it wants to return. So it wants to return a string, boolean or a integer, anything. Like say in my case, let me have it as an int. So I can give it as a addition return. So let me pass this one. Let's say same int of a, comma, int of b. So what I'll do it over here is like say I can just simply pass it as a return statement and the result is equal to a plus b. Simple. Okay, so this is not possible. I'm very sorry. Control X. Let me put it over here. Return. I need to define it. The first thing. So this is how it works. So if you call this addition return over here, so again I can give like say 2 and 3. But this is since it's going to give you some value, so you need to put it over here inside it. So let's save it and run it. So you get your result over here. So what is the code block? It will be executing it. So whatever we have explained now, so everything is an important one because all these things you'll be utilizing it over in your APM. So when you try to create a framework, so all your frameworks will have this one. So if you want to directly return a true or false, something like that, you can give it something like if you don't want to use a static, so you can use a boolean return boolean. Just I'm giving a simple method. So return of false. Simple. So when you try the same way over here, return of oh, doesn't hold a parameter. Yes. Okay. So since it's not a static, right? So I need to create some. We already created an object, right? Just I'll call it through the object way. That's it. Simple. So when I run it up, so I get it true or false, whatever it is, return. So this is how you can use your method with the return type, and you can go ahead.
So
So these
Arvind,
are
for the bottom ones, why are we using the sys dot out dot println versus the top two? We're only giving the method names.
yeah, the problem is like whenever you give a return type, so it is expecting us to give a print.ln. So if I didn't give this particular system.out.println, so you can see the option like say this 5 will not be printed because it will execute. Since we have called this method, it will execute, but it will not be available anywhere in the console. Why? Because like
Oh,
since it's a number, it requires to be printed out.
got
Or
it.
like say
So in those particular methods, when we used return, we didn't use the sys dot out dot println. That's why we need to put it on the top along with the
slightly can
method name. I
yeah
see the
yeah, yeah, please go ahead, sorry.
Okay, I see the difference where you only get the got the sorry, you only gave the method name in the main.
Mhm.
You use the
Mhm.
sys.println in that particular method, but where the
Yes.
methods you gave return for, you didn't use the sys.out.println. So that's why you used it under the main for those two.
Yes, the thing is like this is all the other methods are just executing, but this method with return type, what it is doing, it is like it is giving us some value. So when it gives some value, and if you want to see the value, so basically we need the system dot out dot println. Like say for example, if I didn't if I this method anyhow it's going to be executed. Like say it will be executing it over here. Like assume a scenario like say whatever the output I get over here, so I need to pass it as one of the values in your addition parameter. Like for example, maybe let's pass it something like this, addition parameter. Yeah, so I'll pass it over here, and then I give it as a 4. Addition rate. Okay, I need to give it over here. I'll pass it as 1 and 2. So what happens over here is like say it will pass over here, it will pass over here, but nowhere it will be listed in your console. But still it will execute it. Like say addition parameter before. Okay. You see it over here, the value is 7. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 plus 4, 7. So what happens exactly over here is like say, so even though you don't get anything, this addition return printed out over here, it will still execute. But why we are giving like syso or system.out.println is like just to show us like what is happening. That's it. Because we don't have any inside the method, we don't have any syso system.out.println. But this is going to give you something. So since it's going to give you something, so we need to know what it is trying to give us. So that's wherein we are giving like system.out.println. So if not, no issues, like it will be available.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because other methods are like say it is executing a block, but this method is executing a block and giving us a return statement. So that is the reason like I've given it inside your system.out.println. So we need to see like what is happening inside it. So even if you don't give it, it's not an issue. Like anyhow, it will be executing it up. So this is how a method with return type and uh, yeah, and a parameter will be existing. So maybe now just we'll jump into a concept of oops actually. Yeah. Okay. So far we have seen like say what is class, object, and how to create an object. So any doubts here so far? How to create an object and how to create these things? Any doubt? Before we jump into like say oops concept, like any doubts here so far? Till now, what we have done so far?
No, Arvind, only the installation part is pending from me. So the session we can discuss it.
Ah, yeah, fine. We'll see it at the end of the session.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
Oh, okay. So maybe let's continue it up. Let's see about like say something called oops concepts today. So when you say oops concepts, right? So basically what we have it is like say okay. So we have like four major concepts available in your oops. So all these concepts, if you ask like whether we'll be using it or not, so I can tell you like it depends. It depends on the framework. Like if the framework demands, so you can use it. If the framework doesn't demand, so no need to use it up. So it always depends upon the usage. So like a few things mandatorily that we use it in our framework is like say inheritance, encapsulation. These are the general things that we use it up. So from the usage perspective, I'll tell you like say when we jump into the particular Appium thing. So I'll be telling you like how we'll be using it. So I'll be relating whatever we have seen over here to that particular stuff. So don't worry about that. But just to know the concept wise, like we are seeing it, like say how it is available or how it is getting implemented to be. So first we'll see about like say encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? So basically, so encapsulation is a simple concept. So it is the process of wrapping the data and the code acting on the data together in a single unit. So it is something like say we are hiding the data, we are not showing what is getting manipulated in the data. We are just showing to the particular user. So this is the data available. But how the data is getting generated, we are hiding it from the user. So it might be like say you can add a specific piece of code into your data and then modify the data and use it up. So a classic example like say would be like say whenever you connect or when you connect your database or when you connect to the API and retrieve some data and then you need to use it inside your application. So at that point of view, this encapsulation will be much more useful. So wherein you hide the data but you give the data. You hide the particular data and when it requires, you'll be giving the data. For another example also I can give it to you like say in your application. Like assume a scenario like you're automating an application and you want to store a piece of data like say for example maybe a name or a number from your application. You want to save it somewhere inside your script. So in such cases you can use your encapsulations. So what happens in an encapsulation is like, so we by default we have two methods available in encapsulation. As an example or like say how an encapsulation works, we can use these two methods to explain it up. So we call those two methods as a getter and a setter. So what does a getter and what does a setter will be doing it up? So let me show you an example. Yeah, okay. Okay, let me make this simple. We don't want so many items. Just a second. Okay, so this is a simple explanation of how an encapsulation will be looking like. So basically, I have created, okay, we don't need this one as well. Yeah, so, okay, so I'm declaring it, okay. So what happens over here is like say, okay. So we have like this is a simple method. So what happens over here is like say I'm declaring a variable called a salary, and for this salary I'm declaring something called a getter and setter. So there are two ways to declare a getter and setter for you. So either you can type it like this. So getter will always have a return type. It's like a method with return type, and setter is something like a method with parameter, what we have seen previously. So what happened is like say, so getter will be like say I'll mention it up, method with return type, just to easily understand, and setter is nothing but method with parameter. So this is how basically it looks like. And what happens over here is like say, either you can type the code like this with your hand, or a simple way I'll tell you, your Eclipse or your IntelliJ, whatever you have it as a code editor, just click on the parameter, right click it, and if you go to like say the option source, yeah, you go to the option source, you get like say generate getter setter. Okay, maybe since I'm already having it's not showing it to me, let me delete this one, or let me comment it out. Okay, so double click on it, or just move the mouse over on that, right click on it, and go to source, generate getter setter. So as you can see, it will give you an option to generate getter and setter, and what type of access modifier also you can use it up. So usually we make it as a public. So why we make it as a public is like say, throughout your particular framework or your application you can use it up. So that is why we make it as a public. So if you want to make it private also, it's fine, not an issue. You can still make it as a private and use it. So you make it as a public and then click generate. That's it. You see whatever I commented over here, the same thing will be created again. Simple as it is. So this is how you can easily create, like say if you have like say 5, 6, 7, 8, you don't want to type something but you want to still keep it going on, then you can use this particular easy way of your usage actually. So this way you can use it up. Okay, so now what we are doing over here is like say, so we have the salary over here. So your getter is going to return the salary, your setter is going to set the salary, simple as it is, a layman terms. So what I'm going to do it is like inside your main method, so I'm going to create an object for your encapsulation class. So to explain it more, I create a object for the encapsulation. Okay, and then like what I do it is like say obj dot set salary. So what I'm over here is like say from your object I'm going to set the salary as 1 lakh, 1 lakh, and then how to get it back is like say again I call the object and I call the get salary. So here what I'm doing is like setting the data, and then the last call I retrieve the data, simple as it is. This is how we do it up. I set the data and here I retrieve the data, simple as it is. So when I run your script, what happens? It will give you 1 lakh. But what happens over here if I write some logic, like say salary? I just give it like say a plus of salary, something like this. Okay, so salary plus something like this if I give, if I write a logic, and what comes over here. So let's try it out. Be 2 lakhs. So here I'm giving like it's a small operation, salary plus salary. So I'm doubling it up. So you will know like say I'm giving only 2 lakhs. Sorry, I'm giving only 1 lakh. But inside your set method or your setter, I'm writing a logic in such a way so that it doesn't give the 1 lakh. So it gives you an output after my logic I have given. So that is what we give it over here. So this is what we call it as a wrapping the data, or like say here I do a wrapping of data and then I'm giving it to the get salary. So usually when we'll be using this one is like say when you connect to the database and you want to retrieve the data and keep it, then we use this one. Maybe currently I don't have any connecting to the database, but I'll show it to you as well, maybe in the upcoming sessions, like how to connect to the database and stuff. Maybe I'll install an SQL. So I'm not sure like Oracle in Mac it will work or not. In Windows I worked on it, but in Mac I'm not sure whether Oracle I'm able to install or not. But SQL I think I should be able to install. I can connect to your SQL server and then use it. Yeah, so it shouldn't be a problem. So any doubt here so far till now? How does an encapsulation work? So this is a classic example for your encapsulation. So you can try it out. Yeah. So it's a easy concept. I'm wrapping the data, simple as it is. So I guess there is no doubt on encapsulation. So let's move on to the next one. So next one, abstraction will come to a later point of time, but to the interest of time, let's have something as a simple one. So let's see about like inheritance. So what does the inheritance will do? So inheritance can be defined as a process of one class acquires the properties or the methods of the another class. So when we speak about one class and another class, it's nothing but the relationship between your parent and your child. So one class you can make it as a parent and another class you can make it as a child. So whatever the parent class is having, the child class will be able to use it or consume it. Simple as it is. So how does it consume your parent class is like say with the help of keyword called extends. So whenever there is an inheritance available, extends is a mandatory keyword. Then only your child class can acquire all the properties of your parent class. So if you don't give extends, so obviously it will throw a compilation error when you try to mention the parent class inside the child class. So obviously like we need the keyword extends. So let us see an example for this one. Okay, so this is a parent class. So here I have declared like say an integer at the class level, or we can call it as a global integer, like int of a is equal to 100, and I have a method with parameter a and b. So I'm doing something like a multiplication. So when I go to the child class, so what happens over here is like the child class extends of your parents class. So if I didn't give extend, I'll be giving it as like say I get an error, syntax error, so expected something. So whenever you want to implement inheritance, so extends keyword is a mandatory thing. So your child class extends to parent class, and then your child class has your own method, like say method subtraction, so 100 minus 1. So what happens inside your main method is like say I create a object for your child class. Okay, this is the object, but you see the beauty of it, like I call the subtraction which is available inside a child class, but again with the same object I'm going to access something from your parent class, that is method multiply. So you can see I didn't create any separate object for your parent class. With the same child class object, I'm trying to access your parent class. So this is what the basic concept about your inheritance. So whatever is your parent class holding, so everything can be accessed with the help of your child class object. This is how it will be working. So when you run this particular script, you get like say result of subtraction from over here and result of multiply from over here, line number 12, and line number 13 the global variable, it will be calling it out. This is how it works. So this is what a simple inheritance will be using it up. So inheritance is nothing but it's a way of accessing the methods from your parent class. So and also one more disadvantage of your inheritance is like say I cannot use multiple parent classes over here. So it's like 1:1 mapping. So one child class can have only one parent class, not more than one parent I can have it. But if you want to use like say multiple parent class, your only way is like say you need to replace it with that particular parent class. You cannot keep on adding more than one parent over here. So it's not possible. So the next thing is like say about your super keyword. So let's see about your super keyword. So super keyword is something which is related to your inheritance, and super is the name of the keyword. And what does it is basically it is used to do, it is like it is used to differentiate the members of the super class from the members of the subclass. Okay, super class means your parent class, your subclass means your child class. So your super class will differentiate the between your parent and your child classes. So in which case we use your super class super keyword. So let's see an example. So over here I have like say string of name is equal to demo, and we do some arithmetic operation a plus b, and then we go to your child class, and again you see the same name whatever is in parent class we have it. String of name demo is in your parent class, and in your child class string of name sample will be available. Or for easy reference for us to understand, let me give it as a child. And here also same arithmetic operation will happen, but a different logic. Like say here in the child class I do multiplication, in your parent class I do like addition. So now how to differentiate it? This is where basically your super keyword comes into picture. So one thing is like say you can never use a super keyword inside your static. Okay, like say inside your static means inside your static methods, whether it's going to be a static main method or a simple static method, you cannot use your super, because since it's a keyword, like you can see it's a class, you can identify like this. Like if I move my mouse over on the super, like it's a simple class available inside your Java. So it cannot be used inside a static, so it should be used outside a static. So that's why I have created a method over here, sample calling parent, and inside that I mentioned like super dot arithmetic operation. So whenever I mention something like a super dot and the method name or the parameter name, so what happens is like it directly calls your parent. So how I can represent it is like say, or I can see it is like just move your mouse over on arithmetic operation, press on control or command, whichever is your Windows or your Mac, and click on it, it will go to your parent. Simple. So this is how you can easily see it before your code is getting compiled. If I give like say super.arithmetic, you can click on it and you can see it's working. So then you have like say you can call this method inside your child class object. So if I want to directly mention super inside statics, like say you can see it will not first propose option. The second thing is like say it will throw us an error. Super, delete this token. So it cannot be accessed. So when I run the script, you can see separate multiply operation and addition operation being dealt wherever you call this one. So this is what we call it as your inheritance concept with super keyword and without super keyword. So any doubts here so far till now? So
No,
this is a very useful one. Inheritance is very useful one. So it will be used exhaustively in our Appium frameworks, because how we do it is like usually we'll have a base class, we'll keep on extending it to the respective classes. Maybe just let me see whether I have any frameworks so that I can show you like how it is being used. Just a second. Okay, maybe I don't have it. Maybe I'll show it when we move to the framework section. Yeah. So maybe this is all I had for today. So if any doubts, we can see it now. If not, we can close for the session. Maybe Jagdish, maybe give me some 10-15 minutes. Maybe after the session, we'll connect separately. Maybe
yeah,
through
sure,
Meet
sure.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Arvind.
Ah, yeah, sure. Thank you. So if any doubts is there, we can check it. If not, we can close the session for today. So tomorrow's session we'll continue with the oops concept, and today we didn't see much of any APM setups. So maybe tomorrow we'll see like how in Mac we can create a simulator. Like in for Android we have Android Studio. So in Mac we have like Xcode available. So I'll just give you an intro to Xcode tomorrow, and then let's try to create a simulator on that. So tomorrow we'll see like say two concepts or one concept depending upon time, and then we'll see the Xcode thing, like how to create a simulator. So why I'm giving like say a combination is like, so like you'll also have some R&D to do it up. Yeah, that's the simple thing. Okay, so if no questions are there, like maybe we can close the session for today. Yeah, that's from my side.
Thanks, Arvind. Thanks, Arvind. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, thank you. Jagdish, I'll give me some five
Yeah,
ten minutes. I'll ping you in
yeah, yeah,
WhatsApp. Yeah, we
yeah,
can
sure,
connect.
sure.
Yeah,
Thank you, Arvind.
thank you. Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, thank you.